Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Star Blast Studios coming here with a figure review of the S.H.Figuarts Akuma. Akuma is one of the characters from the Street Fighter line, which I'm gonna admit I don't know anything. I don't know too much about Street Fighter. I don't want to say I don't know anything because I know some stuff. But anyway, Akuma was a character that I saw from the Street Fighter line that always appealed to me, mainly because he always had this badass design and he looked really cool. And when I saw this guy that S.H.Figuarts was making him, I couldn't help but pick this up because this is the type of Akuma that I remember and the one that I like. Not the one from Storm Collectibles, which has that like lion type hair. That one just does not appeal to me. It's not. I don't like that design. I can't help it. No one likes that. It's probably one of the worst redesigns for any character I've ever seen. So I'm just gonna point out right now. You've probably seen other reviews of this from other people. However, I'm mainly going to tackle one guy in this review, and that is Anthony's Customs. I'm not trying to make a rant on Anthony's Customs, don't get me wrong, but I feel like in his review of this figure was really, it made the figure sound worse than it actually was, because when you have this figure in hand and you're posing him around, lots of the issues that he talks about aren't really very big issues. Like, they're issues that aren't that big of a deal, but he makes it sound like it's really a big deal. No disrespect to Anthony's Customs, because you know that Anthony's Customs is all about having the figures being as best as they could possibly be. And like, if he was a CEO of like a figure company and he was the main guy who was working everything to make the figures the best, I feel like he would be the best guy to do it, because all the issues that figures have nowadays are like ones that he takes as a big deal. So if there's really anyone in this world that I'd want as like a CEO of like a figure company, definitely would be him. But anyway, I'm gonna talk about one of the things that he said. So the glossiness in his in this guy's skin, he does look like he went through a lot of like exercising before he came to figure format. So like there's like reflection on his skin, and it's kind of hard to see because of the way I have my camera set up, but it does not really bother me because you only really notice this once you put him under a very harsh light in like a review station kind of thing. And so you have all the light, and so it's reflecting off of his skin. But I mean, you're not going to be having the figure under lights all the time. You're going to be having him on the shelf, and if you have one of those figure shelves where like there's lights all the time, look, I can see how that's a problem. But I mean, for a standard collector who puts the figures on the shelf, it's not really that big of an issue. So another thing, I do agree with this one actually, but it's still not that big of a deal. And the actual shoulders for this Akuma figure, this guy, hold on, let me just zoom out a little bit. There we go. Yeah, that's right, I'm using a real camera. So in the shoulders, Anthony talked about how the in this particular thing they made it so that the plastic kind of hinders it, but I mean, it's still not that big of a deal because you still get the range of movement that you need. It's just there might be a little bit of rubbing in there, but it's really not that bad because he gets his arm out as much as you need him to for any regular pose that you want him in. So again, that's not really that big of a deal. And one thing that I found that I don't quite remember if people covered this is the articulation right here is like, but I don't know how sure we call this. Anyway, there is not too much movement in here. When you have the Ryu figure, for example, like he gets a lot of dynamic range, but this does not really bother me because it's not a real point of articulation on any type of human. And if you were to actually try and moving that area on your foot, you actually kind of do get this kind of range from moving this area. That's why it just does not bother me. So let's actually get to the great things about this this Akuma figure. This Akuma figure has a lot of really nice sculpting work. He has the same exact skeleton as Ryu, but the sculpting around the skeleton makes him a lot bigger, a lot more hefty. In fact, you know what? Here we go. For a size comparison, here is Akuma right next to Ryu. And Akuma is supposed to be taller than Ryu, but he is taller than Ryu, but he's not as tall as people want. But he is like all buff and stuff like that. So if like they were to be coming here face to face, like Akuma would be looking down and Ryu would be looking up. Kind of hard to see because of the way that the camera is, but that's just how it is. And since we're doing size comparisons, here he is next to the S.H.Figuarts Bruce Lee, and I just figured I'd get Bruce Lee because, you know, he's the master of fighting in lots of people's worlds. And oh my, okay, he's not standing. There we go. And I wouldn't want to do a review on any fighting figures if you don't get Bruce Lee into there. Bruce Lee was never a very tall guy, so this actually works. And for other comparisons, for people that collect Marvel Legends, here he is next to your standard Iron Fist. Yeah. So Akuma, he actually does appear to be in scale with Marvel Legends and other S.H.Figuarts. He's practically perfect when it comes to like his scaling and everywhere. And for one other like comparison, for those who collect Dragon Ball figures, here he is next to the S.H.Figuarts Goku. Goku is actually not that tall of a guy either. He just looks tall sometimes when they compare him, but I mean, if you look at the actual Dragon Ball Wikia, Goku is actually like 5'10", 5'9". He's really not that tall. So this is fine. This height scale, it's completely fine. So let's actually look at accessories real quick. So Akuma, he comes with this one angry teeth gritted face. If he didn't look pissed before with his normal face, now he looks really mad. And also, he comes with his other face where it's basically the same as that, but I mean one eye is looking to the side, because we all want to get Akuma in that pose where like his back is turned to you and he's looking from behind. That's where this head would come in. Unfortunately, he does not have that kind of jacket where the kanji goes on the back of him. I'm not exactly sure when he gets that or how he gets that, how that thing is glowing from his back through his shirt, but I still think it's fine. It would have been nice to get an accessory where you can interchange the shirts, kind of like what the Storm Collectibles one got with their Akuma, but I mean that one's not going to fit on this anytime soon. So probably can just put some like customizing onto there and just have the symbol on there permanently, because why would you not want that symbol on there with Akuma? Now for the blast effect, he comes with this I'm not sure, I know it's called like this corrupt version of the Hadoken, like the evil Hadoken, the dark Hadoken, something like that, where all of the energy is like put into this white part and then like the purple is flowing off. In fact, it's actually the same sculpt as the Hadoken that came with Ryu, just colored purple, and I never had really too much of a problem with this accessory. It looks really cool, except one thing that they did not fix with the Akuma is the stand. The stand is still way too small for anyone to use on this, and it only goes up to here. You need to have him posed a certain way in order to like have him like leaning all the way. You would not have him doing like that unless you have him using the Hadoken in the way that he is posed on the box right here. But I mean, you don't even see the stand being used, so I'm not even sure how you'd get the Hadoken angled like that. What I recommend you do is just use the S.H.Figuarts stands and then just put the purple Hadoken on there so that you can get the poses that you'd need with it. They should have honestly just given him a typical S.H.Figuarts stand to put that on like they do with the Dragon Ball figures. I don't know why they do that. Let's talk about the beads on this figure. So another thing that Anthony Customs did point out is that these beads, they should have just given him real beads and not some like molded together piece of plastic to look like beads. That I can agree with, but I mean, it's not that big of a deal that he made it out to be. Still, and again, no hate on Anthony's Customs. Let's actually look at the hair. The hair has awesome shading all over this thing. This makes the hair just pop out and has the figure look a lot better. Whenever S.H.Figuarts put shading on their figures, that is when you know the figures are going to be having the best look on them when it comes to whatever area they shaded. There is very subtle shading in the pants and on the actual shirt, but no shading on the arms. Wait, maybe there is? Yeah, there is a little bit of shading under the in the arm right here, but I mean, it's kind of hard to tell because of the way the camera is set up. Anyway, let's talk about articulation. So the head is on a double ball peg, so he can look around like this, but the beads, the quote-unquote beads are kind of getting in the way. But I mean, it doesn't really bother me too much, not a deal breaker. Arms, we already talked about, comes out like that. He has one of those, it's the S.H.Figuarts fighting body, so he has articulation. He has no bicep swivel, but it's the articulation is right there, so he can do, so that's where the articulation is. One problem though, so this one I wish that they would have fixed. This one I feel like is kind of a big deal, because it affects the how long the figure would last depending on how you do it. So there are veins sculpted right here under the actual on the arm. So when you move this around, it's gonna cause rubbing, and I don't like doing it. You can just see the scuff marks on there whenever you move it. It's just like it's not looking too good. I don't like that they cause that, but I mean, you can still get the arms moving out this way with no problem. And actually, no, I do prefer this over a bicep swivel because it does keep the sculpt in there, and the articulation is just about as good as you need it to be. You won't have really any problems. I wish this thing was fixed a little bit. He has a joint here at the elbow, which does not look too good, but I mean, it's you're not going to be looking at it from this side when you pose it anyway, so really not a big problem to me. He has the typical S.H.Figuarts style hands, where, like, yeah, it's you know how it is with all the Dragon Ball figures. I don't think I need to talk about that. Oh, speaking of hands, I have not gone over the hands. Let me do that real quick. He comes with two Hadoken type of throwing hands. So these look really cool. And other than you obviously see the fist that he has. So, and then one other type of hands which does not come in any other figure is these hands. There's like these fighting style type of hands that come with him. Not sure what it is. I've only seen a little bit of gameplay, but I'm pretty sure this is him when like he's in his fighting stance about to fight someone. And these came out really cool looking. Definitely will have pictures at the end of the review with him using those hands. Anyway, back to the actual figure. He has an ab crunch right here, which it's kind of hard to get to, but I mean, we're just gonna compare with all the ab crunches in there. So he goes this far forward and this far back, so pretty good range of motion right there. He has a swivel right there. He can kick up pretty far, can kick back all the way pretty much. He actually has a better skeleton than Ryu because he goes out with the splits this far. So here we have is where the original Ryu body actually does the splits, and you can see how much they improved because Akuma's legs go out even further than Ryu, so he has a lot better articulation, which I'm very happy about. He has your standard single jointed knees, which go off as far as you really need it to. Not too bad at all. I mean, some people may have a problem with it. Me personally, I don't. It's not the perfect figure. It is a really good figure in my opinion. Oh yeah, Mr. Point of Articulation. He has a thigh swivel right there, so pretty good. We've already talked about the articulation right here. His feet go well, I mean, yeah, he has toe articulation right here. His feet go down, up, has great ankle pivot, so you can't go wrong with any of this. So overall, I think this Akuma figure is something that I think a lot of people will be getting later on, and once they really find out that this figure is great, they're going to be getting this. Anyway, guys, I highly recommend this. If you guys haven't already, go ahead and subscribe, like the video. I'll see you guys next time. Till then.